vind dit zo'n belangrijke plek. Hier komt de hele wereld bij elkaar. Om een beetje alle ellende op te lossen. En dan vind ik dat of alle andere religies in de wereld moeten net zo'n plek hebben als de katholieke kerk, maar ook de atheïsten. Hè? Of de katholieke kerk moet daar weg en moet een andere positie hebben. Ik vind het gewoon ongelijk. Heel gek om hier te staan, zeg.
Het Vaticaan wil niet met me spreken, maar de katholieke kerk is nooit ver weg. Wanneer ik de kerk op Fifth Avenue binnenloop, hoop ik op een frisse wind. Dit is New York. Ik besluit ze het voordeel van de twijfel te geven. Mijn kerkbezoek werkt louterend. Ik sta weer met beide benen op de grond en ik besluit af te reizen naar Washington. Iedereen die iets voor elkaar wil krijgen in deze wereld, zorgt dat hij daar vertegenwoordigd is.
Hallo? Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Oscar
Gideon.
Bruce.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you.
So, this is CFAM.
It is. It is, the Catholic Family and Human Rights Institute.
Okay. That's even you with the Pope, I see.
It is, it is. That was years ago. We presented John Paul the Great, as we call him, with a book signed by 4,000 NGOs who were endorsing the position of the Holy See at the United Nations. There was a campaign at that time to throw the Holy See out of the United Nations, and we got more than 4,000 groups to endorse the Holy See at the UN.
I read in the papers that he slept on the floor.
Yes, he sometimes slept on the floor.
He was hitting himself with a belt.
Yes. It is an old-time spiritual practice that is still practiced by many religious orders today. Mm-hmm. So it's not that unusual.
You've hit yourself with a belt?
No, I don't do that practice.
Okay. So this is the field you're working on, the world.
Well, you know, specifically we work at the UN, Washington, D.C., and then in Brussels.
Yes.
But yes, our concerns stretch all over the world because international institutions are keenly interested in spreading a right to abortion around the world. So there's a coordinated assault on traditional people coming from the UN, the United States, and also the European institutions. And so our work is to counter that. Now, the thing about Europe in particular, and the United States and Canada, is that we are remarkably out of step with the rest of the world. Remarkably out of step. Our secularism is, at the end of the day, a silly little bleep in the history of the world. History is not with you, my friend. And you are completely out of step with most of the world, who believes that abortion kills another human being, who believes that the natural family is the proper way to go, mm-hmm. Who don't believe in pornography or sex outside of marriage or the whole bundle of mm-hmm. odd things that are believed in certain circles in Europe, mm-hmm. certain circles in the United States. Mm-hmm. Completely out of touch with history and the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, you should enjoy your time here, but it will be ending. Mm.
Catholics for Choice is een progressieve lobbyorganisatie. Zij verzetten zich als katholieken tegen de positie van het Vaticaan bij de VN.
Hallo.
Hallo.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
cold.
Very cold. At international meetings that are of critical importance to women and men around the world, the International Conference on Population and Development, the Beijing Women's Conference, the Vatican has railed against the availability of life-saving contraceptives. They've railed against the women's rights at these meetings. At the International Criminal Court, they opposed forced pregnancy being termed as a war crime. When the women were raped in Kosovo, they said that they should not receive emergency contraception to prevent the rapist's progeny continuing. What we're talking about is, we're talking about the fact that the Holy See has an elevated status at the United Nations. We're talking about the fact that, like, it's the equivalent of Euro Disney. If Euro Disney said it was a country, would that mean that we'd give it a seat at the United Nations and it could start, Mickey Mouse could start blocking international agreements? That's the equivalent of what we have with the Holy See and the Vatican. They pretend to be a state. They are not a state. They don't have a permanent citizenry. They don't have a defined territory. And the Holy See doesn't qualify.